Yo, we live, we live, we live, we live. Man, this is your brother Shakim. Hey, we're gonna talk about something very interesting today. We're gonna talk about, is there a difference between white power and black power? Right? We're gonna talk about this today. So I see people coming on. I want this to be a very thought-provoking conversation. If you have any comment, bring it up. This needs to be no holds barred. If your feelings get hurt, it doesn't matter at this point because conversations are needed. We're going to be talking about, is there a difference between white power and black power? And the reason why I want to bring this up right now, right? Y'all see the video Trump retweeted the other day, and which I think is very irresponsible. Seems like anytime he tweets something offensive, it's racial in nature. Um, does he do it intentionally? Yes, I believe so. Um, and I think people need to call him out on it because it's totally despicable. So let's talk about this. He tweeted or retweeted a video where two opposing groups, look like some elderly white people, were riding in carts, and having a rally. And there was a guy who had a Trump golf cart, and he had his flag, his Trump 2020 flag, and he was a part of the parade or the protest. And the people were shouting back and forth with each other. And of course, the people were saying, "Hey, man, you're racist. You know, racist, racist, racist." And the dude was like, "Yo, white power, white power." So now, of course, everybody's like, "What?" Like for one, like why would you even retweet a video where somebody who supports you is screaming white power? That totally like made no sense. You gotta really like vet this kind of stuff. But hey, that's not the point. So I'm arguing and talking to people on social media, and I'm like, listen, this is totally irresponsible behavior. So of course, I got people who popping up saying, you know what? You don't have a problem with people saying black power, but when somebody says white power, y'all are offended. Somebody said that. And like I said, me personally, I'm all for discussion. Like I'm really all for it. So I'm like, okay, so let's look at historical context between the phrase white power and black power to see if we can really get some understanding, because there is totally 100% difference between, from a historical context, the phrase white power and black power. And we will discuss, and anybody who disagrees with me, feel free to chime in. Right now, this is not just, Shakim is right and the whole world is wrong. No. If you feel like we're being hypocritical for, if you, okay, boom, no different. Bill, and I was waiting on you. So, Bill, do you want to, I'm inviting Bill to come on and let's have this conversation. Bill, I was thinking about you earlier. I was thinking about you earlier, Bill. Hey, I want Bill. I want Bill to talk about this because we're hold on really quick. Hold on really quick, Bill. Hold on. I'm gonna get to you in just a second. I'm gonna get to you in just a second, Bill. Because historically, I want to know. Hold on. I want to know. Let me get this out, and let me. I want to. Hold on. I'm getting this. I'm getting this in really quick. Hold on, y'all. Hold on, really quick, because I want to talk about this from a historical context. I want to talk about this. Bill, please check your inbox. Please, Bill, check your inbox because we need to have this discussion. We need to have this discussion. So, the white people are saying, "Hey, man, like y'all are triggered. Like black people, y'all got to start. Y'all are totally triggered because somebody is saying white power, and white power is totally different. White power is the same as black power, as Bill saying right now. He says currently it's no difference. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about it. Now, when you start talking about white power, right? The white power movement has always been the racist belief that white people are superior to people of other races and therefore are dominant over them. That is how the white power movement ideology began to spread, right? And they've used discredited forms of scientific racism like eugenics to often back them up in saying are proving their fallacies. They've used these pseudoscientific arguments like, hey man, white people are genetically superior and things like that. They've adopted pseudoscientific arguments to put white people over everybody else, right? And when you start looking at white power, not from just a pseudo genetic standpoint, you got to look at it from a political standpoint also. White power actually is a political ideology that maintains the social and political order of the day. So it's always been used as an institutional domination, right? That has lifted white people above everybody else. When you look back to the transatlantic slave trade, we're going to talk about, we're going to talk about how, white people come and say, hey man, black people enslave other black people, and we're gonna talk about that also. We're gonna talk about black people enslaving black people in Africa, because that's a question that people want to know too. But the thing is, when you start looking at how white power has actually grown and developed, it's always under the guise of oppression. And it's always been, the birth of these movements have always come after a gain or some sort of, a significant gain by black people or other peoples or women in trying to move the needle for progress. So when you look at the Reconstruction era, right, where blacks had got to a point to where we were, I'm going to share this out because somebody asked me to share it out. We're looking. Hold on. This is totally irresponsible. Okay, so after the Reconstruction era, you start to see where, when blacks were making gains politically and socially, what happened? White supremacists came along and they started their white power ideology and philosophy that basically says, what? Hey, we don't want y'all to educate yourself. We don't want y'all to, build businesses. We don't want y'all to, progress. So he says, I think you're conflating white power with white supremacy. Okay, so this is the thing. How do you not separate white power with white supremacy? Because every time you hear the phrase white power, from look at all the people who scream white power. The Aryan Nation, neo-Nazis. I don't see regular white people that I know every day in the streets saying, hey man, white power means, helping out or teaming with, other races of people or diversity. Listen, Black Power, the Black Power movement, right? The Black Power movement. Oh, hold on. What's this? So you're saying words can't be redeemed? Well, redeem it. But there's no effort of it being redeemed. So this is the thing. Anytime you've seen white power being uttered, right? It's always been in furtherance of white supremacy. You've never seen white power being used as a phrase that means we're going to lift ourselves up without pulling other people down. When you look at the groups that have always talked about white power, it's always been synonymous with white supremacy. You can't logically separate the two. If if you can show me an example of white power that does not carry white supremacy with it, I'm totally open to it. Because even if you look at white power and white supremacy, these movements, right? Because like I said, the only people I see screaming white power are hate groups. That's it. The only people that I see screaming white power are hate groups. That's it. I've never seen just the average white person that I talk to, like, hey man, Shakim, man, we're trying to establish white power. Would you like to, help us in, creating an institution that's going to help all people? Check this out. White power has never sought to form alliances with other races of people. When you hear the word black power, right? And in the black power movement, you've seen groups that have said black power, you have seen them actually form alliances with white people. You've seen them form alliances with Jews. You've seen people who said black power want to reach out to other nationalities and races in order to help further the cause of equality and diversity. You always see that. You can't name, when you start looking at the Black Power movement and how it was birthed, it was always birthed as a movement or used as a slogan to say, we want equality. That's what it says. They always say, we want equality, right? We want equality. We've always said that. Somebody said, I have Irish pride and Italian pride. I don't have to identify as white. I'm olive peach. Blacks have to identify as blacks because their heritage has been lost. Our heritage is not lost. It's right in your face. Our heritage is not lost. It's right in your face. But let me tell you something about our heritage. White power, when the rise of white power began, its focal point was actually to disallow black people to identify with their culture. So they started taking black history out of books. White power was always there to crush our heritage. So when you start looking at the rebuilding of our heritage, you start to look at black people start talking about black power, right? You start looking. She said, as a white woman, if I walked into a place and heard people chanting white power, I'd be scared shitless and run like hell. I'd assume I've stumbled into a Klan rally. Exactly. That's the case. Kelly, you're totally right. And then to the opposite of that is, as a white woman, if you walked into a place where people were screaming black power, you could potentially be embraced because, if you weren't a racist or anything, or had, underlying an agenda, as a white women were welcome into a lot of black power movements as allies, because the black power movement was not set up to oppress a people. The black power movement was set up to be a bridge to fight for equality. Right. So this is the thing. So when people start talking about, white power and black power are the same, it's not the same historically. You can't. When you start looking at, how white supremacy, was actually, has been birthed in the white power movement, you start looking at the Naturalization Acts of the 1790s, right? Where, it limited U.S. citizenship, to whites only. If you look at that, right, these type of things like the Naturalization Act of 1790, these things were actually created in order to keep whites on top of a system that was designed to give them a head start or an advantage, right? So there was an author, and I think his name was Frank Baum or something like this. I think it's like BAUM. I was reading it the other day, but he was talking about the law of conquest. And the law of conquest, he was basically saying that he justified white people being the heads of civilization. He said that the whites are the masters of the continents, and what they have to do is annihilate all of the Native Americans to make sure that they never have a a chance to get back to being the owners of this country. And that was he just totally, and like I said, go read it. It's called it's the Law of Conquest, and it was like a pamphlet I was reading. But the guy's name was Frank, I think Baum, Baum, something like that. But when you start really looking at it, the civil rights movement. Look who rose after the civil rights movement. You had the Klan, the resurgence of the Klan, during the civil rights movement. When Stokely Carmichael, he's actually who we refer to as the father of the Black Power movement, Stokely Carmichael. When you start looking at the writings of a person like Stokely Carmichael, you never find anybody saying, let's oppress whites. You never find in any of their agenda or the speeches them saying we need to hang whites, or we need to, rape the woman, or we need to annihilate, whites off of the face of the planet Earth. When the Black Power movement started out, you didn't hear that. Their response was, listen, we need to form black banks. We need to stop redlining. We want more farms. We want bookstores. We want food cooperatives. We want clinics and ambulances, and we want hospitals. See, and when the Black Power movement actually reached its peaks in like the 1970s, you had a lot of blacks who they declared as militants being killed by the police. So you had a lot of them, felt like they were being targeted, like Fred Hampton, killed by the police. Man, you just H. Rap Brown. So they felt like the police, and that's why a lot of blacks don't really trust the police now, because it goes back, yes, to the slave catchers, why the police were first formed. But even when you started talking about black liberation and black power, and you start talking about Kwame Ture, who formerly Stokely Carmichael, they felt as though police officers were part of the white power movement, and they didn't want them to arm themselves. They didn't want them to, if you think about it, right? J. Edgar Hoover. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show y'all something. I'm gonna show y'all something really quick. I'm gonna show y'all something. Right. I'm gonna show y'all something that I think is very, 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 very critical. And hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Hold on. Hold on. I'm gonna show y'all something really, 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 really quick. Hold on. So, what I want to show y'all something. I want to show y'all something that's very important, and I'm gonna highlight this. So y'all give me a second. Check this out. Check this out. Check this out. I'm gonna share my screen on this. I'm gonna share my screen on this because I want y'all to see how crazy. I want y'all to see how crazy this is. And all right. Okay. I'm gonna read this. Control plus. I'm gonna read this. Okay. This line right here. So this is talking about the Black Panther Party. The Black Panther Party had a free breakfast program. A free breakfast program. Now, go back and I want you to read this later on, but I want to ask you a question. It said here, the breakfast program, this is the Black Panther Party, the breakfast program's enormous success drew the attention of FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover. He stated that all of the radical black groups, that out of all the radical black groups, the Panthers were the greatest threat to the internal security of the country because of their free breakfast program. You mean to tell me the FBI came out and said that the Black Panthers were the greatest risk to the internal security of the country because of the free breakfast program? These guys are feeding kids in their community. That brought so much attention that the FBI said that they were the greatest threat to the internal security of the country because of the free breakfast program for children. He said Hoover recognized that through the program, the Panthers captured the loyalty of many black children by giving them free breakfast. He was also angry that the breakfast program won liberal whites and moderate black supports for the Panthers. He perversely justified FBI attempts to destroy the program. This man has the FBI attempting to destroy a free breakfast program for children. He said, because it is potentially the greatest threat to efforts by authorities to destroy what the Black Panther Party, stands for. The FBI's attempts to destroy the program included sending forged letters to stores to discourage them from donating food, spreading rumors that the food was poison, and even raiding the sites where children ate. Now, somebody please tell me, how in the world, now just think, we're talking about Black Power. This is the Black Power movement. So remember, he said, of course, the black people, Black Power movements have always sought allies. When you hear white supremacy, white supremacists have never sought allies. They always wanted to keep everything to themselves. They never thought about reaching out to other races, ethnicities, cultures, none of that. Because their whole thing is, we want to annihilate everybody off the face of the earth. The Black Power movement has never, we've always allied ourselves with white people who we felt were conducive to our plight of liberation. We've always done that. Whether you think it's right or wrong, that's totally different. I'm not talking about right or wrong. I'm talking about the difference between the Black Power movement and the white power movement. Now, let me tell you this. When has the KKK ever a program that feeds children in the community? When has the KKK ever done that? When have the skinheads ever said, we're going into poor white communities and we're going to have a free giveaway for the children? We're going to have a backpack program for the children. We're going to help with school supplies. Remember now, the Black Power movement is known for starting social programs that were going to help in areas where the government, where we felt government was failing us. We always figured, hey, we got to do for self to help our communities because nobody's going to help our communities but us. That's always been one of the most critical and key components of the Black Power movement. When have you seen the Aryan Nation say, we're going to go into distressed, poor, white or black communities and feed people, start clothing drives, start food drives, and things like that? They never have, because the white power movement and the black power movement historically has been two different things. J. Edgar Hoover was a white supremacist who wanted white power. So what he did, white power has always been a reactionary force when another people has sought to do good without them. They've sought to take a hold of them. Somebody please tell me, how in the world does J. Edgar Hoover turn around and say the greatest threat? How can a free breakfast program for children be the greatest threat to the internal security of the country? I wanted y'all to read this. I wanted y'all. FBI and local police raids, arrests, and murders of Panther leaders, as well as party infighting, led to the closure of most Panther chapters and the end of the free breakfast program in the early 1970s. The Seattle, Washington chapter lasted longer than most, hosting the breakfast program even after the chapter closed in 1977. The Panthers' free breakfast program focused national attention on the urgent need to give children nutritious meals so they could be successful in school. Check that out now. The Panthers' free breakfast program focused national attention on the urgent need to give poor children nutritious meals so they can be successful in school. But the government and the FBI basically said that the greatest threat to the internal security of the country is feeding poor black children so they can be better in school. Look what they did. Look what the FBI did to destroy a free breakfast program for kids. Bro, this is horrible. This is horrible. That's horrible. This is where I'm at right here. Black Panther Party's free breakfast program, 1969 to 1980, Diane Pine. So this is my thing. So if we see, right, we see what's going on. We see what's going on. So my whole thing is, when people always bring up the fact that, or try to say, well, you know, white power is the same as black power. No, it is not. In no way, shape, or form, it is not. The black power movement has never, if I don't care, you go to any document that was written by groups that, you know, especially in the 70s and the height of the black power movement, all these groups specifically said that they wanted economic freedom, they wanted political freedom, they wanted social justice. Never in any of these documents did they say that, you know, they wanted to suppress and oppress white people. There's a big difference from somebody saying black power than somebody saying white power. Big difference. Because if I say, listen, I want to see, black power has always sought to create a sense of justice. And like I said, we've always welcomed whites in the black power movement. Even right now, when you see the Black Lives Matter movement, we have included whites in the movement. We've included whites. We have never, in any of our movements, we have never segregated and cut off whites totally from giving their opinion, helping, providing resources, none of that. Let me see something. Charlie, trust me, a lot of us so-called black know our real history. Great opinion, though. Well, what did he say? Hold on. What did he say? What did he say? What did he say? What do you think of modern white nationalists who also say they want separation and not domination? Show me one. I have never seen a white nationalist say that they want separation and not domination. If you can find me one, find me a white nationalist who can come and say they want separation and not domination. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there are white nationalists out there who actually think that, but I have never heard a white nationalist come and say they don't want domination, they only want separation. So I can't really speak on that because I've never heard that. Uh, and if and if you can find one, I'd be more than happy to talk to him and get his or her perspective. But like I said, I've never heard that. Hold on, let me share this out. Somebody asked me to do something really quick, so let me share this out. But yeah, so at the end of the day, I wanted to make that point because a lot of people were hold on, hold on now. A lot of people were talking about that recently, especially after the situation with Donald Trump and him sharing the video of a white person saying white power. A lot of people were saying that it's not discrimination. I mean, it saying black power and white power, you know, are the same thing. And one of the things I always say, right? Can no somebody, because people say, well, so one of the talking points of hold on really quick. All right. So one of the talking points of a lot of white people, they say that the Klan and the KKK are the same thing. A lot of people say the Klan and the KKK are synonymous. Somebody, please tell me how the Klan and the KKK are synonymous. I mean, the Black Panthers. The Black Panthers. Sorry, my mind just went out. The Black Panthers and the KKK do not have the same views, but different races. Show me where the Black Panthers have rode around hunting white men to kill or white women to kill, just indiscriminately. Show me where somebody from the Black Panther Party has rode around and said or fantasized about killing white people indiscriminately because they were white. Somebody please show me. Show me a writing, a book. Somebody show me something. Because you cannot ideologically say the KKK and the Black Panthers are the same. That is totally incorrect. Totally. The KKK has always maintained the philosophy that they're superior. They talked about, the laws of conquest. It's just totally different. Totally different. When you start talking about racial superiority and how, these ideas have been endorsed and the denial of social and political freedom, the minorities, blacks, women, it's clear, that even with immigration policies have always favored white European countries versus any other country. We can back that up with stats. When you start talking about the Immigration and Nationality Act of 1965, that's whenever they started to open entry to the U.S., U.S. to immigrants who were other than, I would say, traditional national European or Northern European, and like Germanic groups also. But it wasn't until the Immigration and Nationality Act of 1965, and you can go read it, that it actually opened up entry to the U.S. to immigrants, other than the traditional European nations. Go look at it. Even states, they ban interracial marriage through, the anti-miscegenation laws, right? Up until like 1967, they banned interracial marriage, and these laws were invalidated by the Supreme Court and other Supreme Court decisions. But that's the basis behind white supremacy, that they didn't want their race to be mixed. And they put it in laws to make sure that this didn't happen. This is what we talk about when we talk about systemic racism. This is what we're talking about when we're talking about systemic racism, right? So you're just looking at Immigration and Nationality Act of 1965, just now being, that's not that long ago. They're just opening up immigration. This is what we're referring to when we talk about, systemic racism. When you start talking about, these far right, white nationalists, you got to start talking about, how they've always used religion to hide behind their views of racism. So they always, talked about, we're Christian and carried the Bible, and, where they wanted to put on this facade of being Christ-like, and being, missionaries, and being, evangelical. They've always, hid behind the Bible and religious fundamentals, right? They've always, look at the skinheads. They always in the Klan, they always, talk about how, they are, these Christians, and we stand on the Bible, but they use it to hide their bigotry and their hatred. Even when you look at people like David Duke, right? David Duke, a long-term racist, former Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan. I remember one time he was talking about how the internet was going to create like a chain of racial enlightenment that's going to shake the world. Right? Read it. David Duke, former Grand Wizard of KKK. He believed that the internet was going to create a chain of racial reaction, of racial enlightenment that's going to shake the world. So in his mind, he was already setting it up, saying, you know what? We're going to use the internet to recruit. We're going to use the internet to spread white nationalism. We're going to use the internet to spread racial superiority or ideologies. Look at Dylan Roof. What did he do? He was a part of these internet. He was going on these white nationalist websites that talked about how, black people are killing all these white people and spreading all these, white people are going to, be abandoned off the face of the earth. And, we got to watch out because our race is going to be distinct. And, black men are sleeping with our women. It just created such a sense of paranoia, right? And that's what white nationalism is about. It's about creating that sense of paranoia that it gives them that panic mode to where they can do something irrational and go kill somebody. So they believe our race is going to be annihilated, right? That's it. That's it. So, like you said, they took him to Burger King. So I just wanted to make this point. Jeff, good point. He said every group that chants white power is a hate group that wants to oppress people. The same can't be said about black people. 100% correct. You can't say that. So, there's a lot of people who have this mixed up, and we really need to have this discussion because, when we talk about white power and you talk about black power, it's a huge difference. And that's what I really wanted to come. She said, yeah, and they took him to Burger King after he murdered 9 people. Exactly. So they are not to be equated with the scale of the KKK, but black nationalism has killed, but black nationalism has killed. Show me. I mean, you can provide examples. I mean, like I said, Old Five and Wyman, whatever. Always feel free to provide examples. I'm not here to shut anybody out. Hey, peace. If you say you have evidence of, black nationalism, talking about, black nationalism actually killing white people, bring it. We'll discuss it. We'll have a conversation. I'm not trying to turn anybody off. Let's have these discussions. I mean, hey, I enjoy it. But right now, you can't fundamentally say, with all intellectual honesty, that black power and white power are synonymous terms from a historical context. You can't say that at all. They're totally different. When you start breaking down the history, like I said, it's just totally amazing that J. Edgar Hoover and the FBI attacked the Black Panther Party for the free breakfast program for children and cited that it is the greatest threat to national security. Feeding poor children breakfast in the morning to go to school was the greatest threat to national security. That's how they were able to do things like that to the Black Panther Party, because they lied on them, like she said, they lied on them and they brought it up and they used it to scare people. And like I said, the Black Panther Party had many white allies, many white allies. You see them in pictures of white people. So they were never an organization that sought out to exclude or to annihilate white people off the face of the planet Earth, because they actually embrace a lot of white people who said, we see tyrannical government as the problem. The Black Panther Party always sought alliances with white groups who believe that our biggest problem was tyranny in the United States government. Always. They never said they wanted to kill white people. They never said they wanted to annihilate white people off the face of the planet Earth. They've always talked about building alliances with white people across the globe. What do you think about the American Nazi Party visiting the Nation of Islam in the 1960s? I'd have to read about it because I've never heard the American Nazi Party visiting with the Nation of Islam in the 60s. I know that Elijah Muhammad had a meeting with the Klan, but I don't know if that's the same thing, the American Nazi Party. And I'm not really sure about the Nazi Party visiting the nation. I'd have to do some reading on that. So I'm glad you brought that out. I Google it and see where that came from, 1961. Okay, I'll look at it. Like I said, I thought it was the Klan, but American Nazi Party, I don't know. I checked that in. That's just wrong. Where are you getting this information? I'm trying to figure out what information are you talking about. But the Nation of Islam, even when you look at the Nation of Islam has always been strictly about, and you go start, even though I don't agree with some of the stuff Elijah Muhammad talked about, religious part, I didn't agree, but I love what they do. They've come in and tried to clean up cities. They come in and they've talked about educating the people, and they started talking about building schools and things like that. But they've never advocated openly about killing white people. Why the double standard? Well, there is no double standard. You can go back and maybe check the video from the beginning when I get off. But we talked about all of the, in a historical context, we talked about how Black Power movement and white power movements have totally been opposite in the implementation of both, and how both of them have always held separate meanings in in I would say in relation to the oppressed and the oppressor. So when you look at Black Power, it's always a concept of from an oppressed people finding or trying to find out how they can better themselves through adopting social programs, through helping each other, through building alliances with white people. And if you remember, the Black Panther Party really coined the phrase "all power to the people." That was one of their main chants. What they said is all power to the people. That's right. So no need to qualify the movement. What color? Why not? So this is the thing. It's nothing wrong with speaking in terms of color. It's nothing wrong because we that's how we identify us. That's how we created us. That's how we're created. The only thing that's wrong is when people start discriminating because of color. That's when the problem comes in. If I say, hey, man, I love to eat Chinese food, that's not racist. If I say, man, I love Mexican food, that's not racist. If somebody say, I love to eat soul food, that's not racist. If a white person says, man, I love the sound of African drums, that's not racist. If a black person say, hey, man, I love to eat Greek food, that's not racist. When you start talking about embracing culture in a positive light, it's nothing wrong with that. And I think we try so hard to be, I don't see color and, that's where we start getting things wrong. It's good to see color as long as you're seeing it in a positive light. It's cool. It's nothing wrong with seeing color when you're viewing it from a positive light, because the culture of other people is beautiful. Everybody's culture isn't always wrong. Everybody's culture isn't bad. So the problem is when you have people that are spewing out the false rhetoric that I don't see color, that's wrong. You're supposed to see color, but you see it in a light that's positive, and you love or you enjoy you can learn from anybody's culture. You can learn from it. I can learn from the white culture, Germanic cultures, European cultures. I can learn things. They're good writings. I can learn from African cultures. I can learn from Buddhist cultures. I can learn from Native American cultures. There wisdom in all of the books of these particular cultures. There's wisdom in the books. And I believe that the more and more you ingratiate yourself with wisdom from other cultures, that allows your worldview to expand, and that allows you to become more of a critical thinker, and it widens your scope of success, because now you can communicate with people on their level, and you can now have conversations that are more intelligent. So I believe that diversification is good. We need to understand or learn about people's culture. We have to be able to see. But what's happening is we're trying so hard to not see color where we're becoming hypocritical. So now when a white person comes and says, hey, man, this is our culture and this is what I respect, and I don't see color, that's just a way for me to become tone deaf. I don't see color. I don't see it. I don't see color, man. We all bleed red. It's not. No, that's BS. I should be able to say, you know what, man, where you from? Italy? Yo, I love Italian color. I mean, Italian culture. I should be like, you know what, man, there's an Italian philosopher that I totally love that, I like. You know what I'm saying? What is this? What in the world? Who in the world is this? Why, after all we have done to the American Indians, your race is so angry and they're not? American Indians are angry. What are you talking about? Shit, man. I don't know what American Indians. American Indians are angry. That is totally false. They're plenty. You ain't been around no hardcore American Indians, because a lot of them, I can go play you some video. A lot of American Indians are angry. A lot of them are angry. So that comment doesn't make sense. This is the thing. Why is your race so angry? Why is your race angry? Why? So let's bring you into this conversation, Kat. Kat is saying, why are blacks so angry? Well, let me ask you this. Why were whites angry to spray blacks with water hoses when we were being peaceful? Right? Blacks were being peaceful. Why did whites sick dogs on black protesters who were peaceful? Why were whites angry when Martin Luther King was just coming and having peaceful protests? Why was Martin Luther King killed by white people for being peaceful? So when you start talking about anger, let's talk about the anger that whites had after Reconstruction with the Klan, when blacks were just coming into being more politically involved in the process. Why did whites get angry and start attacking blacks then? Why is it when blacks in the Republican Party started to build themselves, you had movements like the Lily White Republicans get angry about black progress and form organizations that were totally discriminatory against black people? Why were whites angry at that point? Why were white people so angry whenever we wanted to Rosa Parks didn't want to get off to go to the back of the bus because she was tired and she worked all day and her feet were hurting? Why were whites so angry about Rosa Parks only sitting at the front of the bus? That's petty. Why were whites angry about that? Why were whites angry when a black person just wanted to go to a school in their attendance zone and the black kid walked into school? Why were whites angry about that? Why were whites, and I was just about to bring that up, Ray, why were whites upset and angry whenever black people had Black Wall Street? All they wanted to do in Tulsa, Oklahoma was just build their community, and they had barbershops, they had the nail salons, they had the bank. They wanted to start their own because they were segregated, so it wasn't like white people wanted to come there anyway. Why were they not upset? Why were white people upset about that? That these black people over here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, just wanted to do something. Not, that's 70 years old. Martin Luther King wasn't 7. That's not 70-year-old news. That's not. Why was the white lady so mad when we had a march in 2018? Now you want to, okay, let's look at a couple years ago. We did a march, and all of y'all noticed this story went viral. This was me and my partners. We did a Stop the Violence rally with kids. White lady said we were tearing up the gas station and wilding out and had guns and all kind of stuff. It turned out to be a lie. It was on video. I caught it all. We called her gas station girl. Why was she so mad at us when all we did is we were stopping in the gas station to get the kids something to drink? Goose AOC, ask your question. So this is my question. You want to ask about why are black people, why is my race so angry? But we're angry in response to injustices that have been surrounding us for so long that we're frustrated. Look at redlining. Oh, that wasn't 70 years ago. Redlining. Let's look at redlining. Black people, this is a fact. So you can't say, oh, you're making up stuff. Redlining. We shouldn't be angry about redlining, where banks were purposely drawing lines around black communities so they didn't have to lend to us. who were depositing money in their banks. So they essentially were taking our money from our community and not loaning to us and lending it to white people. Right? So that's why when I see questions like this, oh, why after all we've done to the Native Americans, your race is so angry and they're not. So now, like Malcolm X said, we have a right to be angry. We have a right to be angry. A right to be angry. Anger is not always bad. Anger is a good thing because it shows that you are not content with what's going on. I got a right to be angry. Why not? I should be. I should be outraged at injustice anywhere, no matter if it's a white person, black person, any injustice that goes on, we should be angry. Why? Because if we are really purveyors of freedom, justice, equality, we want to provide constitution equality. Anytime that's broken, there should be anger. What is the common denominator in all of these major and poverty-riddled communities? White people. And I'm going to explain that. I said, what is the common denominator in all of these major and poverty-riddled communities? White people is the common denominator. Now, let me explain that, because I got a good explanation. The question is, what is the common denominator in all of these major and poverty-riddled communities? And I said, white people. Now I'm going to explain. Let's talk about years and years and years of laws that have been created to give a particular race an advantage. We can't overlook that. We can't. You can't. When you start talking about economic depression, you got to start talking about redlining. You got to start talking about housing discrimination. You got to start talking about these things. It's something that it's like taboo. A lot of people don't want to talk about it. But there are cases to where, and we know this, laws have been written for years and years and years that have been designed to give white people a head start and to maintain their economic control over society. That's the truth. Brown versus the Board of Education. We had to fight because our schools underfunded. We weren't getting proper education. Our schools were totally depleted. We had to fight. Some people say, man, that was the worst thing that happened. But at the end of the day, we still had to fight. Even when you start talking about affirmative action, a lot of people, oh man, because Candace, oh, affirmative action, oh, no. But why was affirmative action started? Because the Supreme Court and other white legislators understood that for years and years and years and years that they have given white people advantages in getting in schools, the best schools. They knew that they systemically locked black people out, and women, because it applies to women too, but they knew that they systemically locked black people out of these particular institutions. That is why it existed. Let me ask you this. Why are immigrants coming here from Somalia and being successful? Your excuses fall flat. Show me the numbers. Show me the numbers. See, these are talking points. You don't know any immigrants from Somalia. You don't know any. You don't know any. I guarantee you Kat has no friends who are immigrants from Somalia. Where they at? Where they at? You don't know. You don't have any friends. You don't know how many immigrants come from Somalia. You don't have the statistics. You don't know the current average income of an immigrant from Somalia. You don't know that. You don't know anything about immigrants from Somalia. You have no factual data, but you come with a talking point that is just based on a straw man argument, something that you pulled out of thin air, created, and used it. And she's talking about Ilhan Omar. You don't say she's successful. Y'all don't say she's successful. You say that she's hateful. She's a demon. You don't say she's successful. Y'all don't say that. Then you're pointing to one example. One example. So this is the thing. This is the thing. This is the thing. At the end of the day, I'm gonna tell y'all this. I'm gonna tell y'all this. At the end of the day, when you start looking at what's going on in the country, you gotta address the issues that's going on, and we need solutions. We do. Pointing fingers, man, you need to pull yourself up by your bootstraps and all of that. I understand that. But this is the thing. Creating economic opportunity, allowing people to take advantage of economic opportunity without any sort of hindrance. That is what is going to move us to another level. My people on Facebook, these people on Twitter are asking these questions, so I don't know if y'all can see that, but I don't know. But people on Facebook, these questions, the Democrats are wanting to keep you down, but you can't see that. Shit, what are Republicans doing? I'm a conservative. I don't see what Republicans are doing either. I'm a conservative, to be honest. You saying the Democrats want to keep you down? Hell, the Republicans, they doing the same thing. If I go to a Republican right now and say, hey man, let's talk about funding or helping to fund schools in black communities. Let's talk about how we can create more opportunities. What about black on black crime in Chicago? What about abortion? You know, the Republicans deflect more than anybody. Republicans deflect too. So you say, yeah, Democrats want to keep you down. Hell, you can't get shit out of a Republican. And I'm a conservative, and I tell you that. They don't want to give you nothing either. So if anything, they just as bad. Just as bad. So, you know, it's a talking point that, oh yeah, Democrats want to see you to keep you down. Shit, okay. I see that. But shit, you ain't showing me nothing. Republicans ain't showing me nothing better. And I'm just being honest in my assessment. I can say, yeah, Democrats ain't doing nothing, but can I sit here and say Republicans are doing better? Hell no. I'm gonna tell you this. Let's talk about facts. Let's talk about facts. I said this yesterday or the other day. South Carolina is a Republican state. I've been in South Carolina all my life. South Carolina is a Republican state. South Carolina has been last in education as far as I can remember. Anybody from South Carolina on this feed right now can tell you South Carolina has always been last in education. Last. And this is a Republican state. So when you tell me the Democrats want to keep you down, okay, all right, well, that's cool. That's cool. But the Republicans have control over the House and the Senate here locally, and education is last for white people and black people. What is the Republican Party going to do about education in the state of South Carolina? They've been running the education system in this state, and you still have the corridor of shame in this state. We last. So anytime you start talking about the Democrats want to keep you down, I understand. I totally get it. There's a lot of Democratic policies that I can point to that say, hey, you know what? You are totally correct. But then when I look to the left and I look to the right, I say, well, damn. They do not run the SC Educational Association. Listen. Listen, y'all. This person here is trying to tell a lot of y'all on my feed are from South Carolina. Notice now, when I told the truth about South Carolina education system and who controls the South Carolina education system, you see that? Oh no, they don't run the SC Educational Association. That's what you call not wanting to accept the facts. The Republicans are in control of the Senate and the House here, and they have a large say-so in education, how it's funded, how it's ran, all of that. They have not done diddly squat since I can remember to do anything for education. We've always remained last, and this is a Republican state. So, I mean, in all honesty, I understand. I understand, you know, about the Democrats not wanting black people to have anything. I get it, but shit, you can't convince me. You can't convince me that the Republicans are doing any better. You can't convince me. So I mean, I just got to put that out there. If anybody wants to dispute me on that, feel free to jump in. I'm always open. You know, I'm always, ready. Somebody said, "Do you think Donald Trump is a racist?" Woo! Woo! Yo, I'm going to answer this question like this. I'm going to bring up Andrew Gilliam, right? When he was running again. And Andrew, I hate to see the brother fall like that, man. That was like drastic. Andrew Gilliam. I'm going to use this answer that Andrew Gilliam said in this debate. He said, I'm not saying that Donald Trump is a racist. What I'm saying is that the racists believe Donald Trump is a racist. I'm going to say that again. Like Andrew Gilliam said. He said, and I'm going to use Trump. He said, I'm not saying Trump is a racist. I'm saying that the racists believe that Trump is a racist. I'm going to tell you like this. When you have, hold on, who's this? Hold on. Let me see something really quick. I don't see that. I need to stop making I'm looking at something really quick. All right. Let me tell you something like this. Let me tell you like this. Donald Trump. When somebody says Donald Trump is a racist, you can't defend that. We might try to defend it, but it's so hard. It's so hard to defend it. So hard. And I'm going to tell you this from a person who actually thinks that Trump has bullshit. I like some of the policies that he's enacted. I really do. I think that he's done a lot of good things policy-wise. I think he's done. When you start talking about the economy, that I love that he continued to build the economy after Obama left office. I think that was good. And like I said, yes, Obama took us out of a recession. You got to be a stone cold idiot to think Obama didn't take us out of a depression. George Bush put us in one of the worst depressions that were ever known. Obama took us out of it. I don't care. You can cry and whine and all of that. Obama took us out of a depression. So stop it. He did. When Bush left out of office, man, we was paying $4.30 for gas. We was paying, man, gas was through the roof. I remember like, damn, boy, gas high. Man, bro, gas was like sky high. Bro, Obama took us out of that. You can't sit here and lie. You gotta see, we gotta be honest in our assessment, bro. Obama took us out of it. He did. He did. But the thing is, that doesn't take away from the fact that Trump continued the steam. He continued it rolling, which is cool. See, you don't have to get mad because Obama took us out of a depression and Trump kept the ball rolling. You don't got to be mad. That's something good. You don't got to argue. That's cool. That's what we needed. We didn't need Trump to throw us back. He kept us moving. You know what I'm saying? So that's good. He gave us unprecedented unemployment. That's good because they was working hand in hand and still gave us, you know, a hope. So right, the president isn't the god of the economy. So this is the thing. But if somebody says Trump is a racist, bro, I can't sit here and argue and make a. All I can do is be like, shit, he has a right to his opinion. Because at the end of the day, bro, that man, bro, you don't just, bro, you know what Trump should have did the other day? When he tweeted that video of white supremacy, he should have came and said, man, I'm sorry. Like, bro, I ain't mean to. He should have came out personally. He shouldn't have sent something through the White House and said, the president didn't watch the whole video. He should have came out himself. He should have came out himself and said, man, listen. I ain't mean to do that. So this is the thing. Let me answer this. Nobody called him a racist until he was elected. Even if that's the truth, people started seeing how white racists were clinging to him. That's the whole point. It's not about when a person start calling you racist. Like right now, if all of a sudden you see Shaquem, you see a lot of people saying kill Whitey. You know, I support Shaquem, kill Whitey. You know what I'm saying? We want to kill all white people, and then they got a Shaquem flag. You know what I'm saying, bro? You gonna look at me sideways? You gonna be like, damn, Shaquem, like. What all these people, my white friends right now, if I ran for office in this city, I'm talking to my white friends now, my white friends, if, this is to my white friends, and I want y'all to be honest, my white friends, please be honest. If I ran for the mayor of North Charleston in this city, if I ran for mayor, and all of a sudden, you start seeing dudes pop up saying, you know what? Black supremacy, kill Whitey, vote for Shaquem. You're going to be like, what? Hold on. Don't tell me you wouldn't look at me funny if I was running for mayor and all my white friends, y'all know, y'all would be looking at me sideways if I ran for mayor of this city and all of a sudden dudes start popping up in black hoodies with a Shaquem for mayor sign screaming kill Whitey, black supremacy. You gonna look at me, I don't care what nobody say, but y'all gonna look at me funny. So don't act like black people shouldn't look at Donald Trump when stuff like that happens. Bro, you supposed to look funny. You look at me funny. You look at me funny. So yeah, black people are going to call Trump racist because they see a lot of racists coming out openly, flying flags, screaming white power, or doing these gestures of white supremacy, and all of them got Trump 2020 flags. Not to say a racist can't never vote for you, but at the end of the day, bro, I'm going to look funny. Y'all going to look funny at me if I ran for mayor and all of a sudden dudes screaming, yeah, black supremacy, kill Whitey, vote for Shaquem. I'll be like, boy, look at here. You know what I'm saying? You never repeat that Obama was elected by white people in the U.S. What does that mean? Why do I never repeat that Obama? What does that mean? I don't get it. White, yeah. What is? Nobody has ever. See, this is what I mean by straw man arguments. This is what I mean by straw man arguments. You take an argument that nobody has ever even said, you pull it out of thin air, You put it on somebody, then you beat it up. That's a straw man argument. Nobody ever talked about white people not voting for Obama. That's obvious. You don't win the election by all black votes. So I'm not okay. White people, I got white friends who voted for Obama. I don't understand the significance of repeating that Obama was elected by white people. I don't understand the significance. I don't understand the significance in that. I don't. The white power in that video seems sarcastic. It looked like a joke, not condoning. No white person I know I deal with screams white power. No white person that I talk to and am cool with feels comfortable in public screaming white power, whether it's sarcastically or intentionally. No white person that I'm cool with feels comfortable doing that. You're not going to see me in public screaming, kill the white man, kill the white man. That's not something sarcastic that I'm going to say. I'm not going to say, kill the white man, kill the white man. And people are recording me. I'm not going to say, kill the white man. Why? Because that's something so far from my belief system that I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say, man, we need to kill all white people. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say kill all white people. I'm not even going to joke about it. That's nothing for me to joke about. Riding around saying kill the white man. That's nothing to joke about. That's nothing to joke about for me walking around saying, I want black supremacy. You're never going to hear me say that. Even in my most radical times of my life, you never heard me say that I want to oppress the white man. I'm not going to joke and say nothing like that. It's nothing to joke about. So, that's nothing to joke about. That's nothing to joke about. You know what? Like I said, somebody said the example you gave about Trump is hypocritical. You are essentially judging the man. You know what? I'm gonna tell you like this. My mama always told me, watch the company you keep, son. My mama always told me that. My mama always told me, son, watch the company you keep. You are judged by the company you keep. My mama always told me that. People who support me, I watch the company I keep. I can't affiliate with certain people because guess what? I don't. That's why I don't affiliate with certain people. I can't. So if my mama taught me that, I know Trump knows that. I know that. So this is the thing. Yeah, and Obama went to a church ran by an anti-Semite. Jeremiah Wright? No, you can't. Jeremiah Wright. Well, but then at the end of the day, you got your beef for Jeremiah Wright, but Jeremiah Wright has never walked up and down saying he was going to kill white people and all kind of stuff and white oppression and all that. So, like I said, I don't care. You could talk about Obama and all that. That don't mean nothing to me. At the end of the day, my mama told me, son, watch the company you keep. Watch the company you keep. That's it. So, like I said, people who support me, I don't want nobody to support me who has a mentality that I want to kill every white person I see. I don't want you supporting me. I don't want your support. I don't want you volunteering at the community resource center. If you somebody who says, you want to kill every white person that you see, bro, I don't want to associate with you. Don't call my phone. I don't want your donation. I don't want nothing. Nothing. That's integrity. If you are somebody, I don't want you on my friends list. I don't want nothing from you if you got the mentality that you are a black version of Dylan Roof, I don't want you in my company. I don't want your money. I don't want your donation. I don't want none of it. If I ran for office, I don't want you to support me. You go vote for somebody else. Because at the end of the day, my integrity matters more. That's my integrity matters more. So I let that be known off the top. Off the top. I don't want your support. If you were the type of person, you know, that is a black person, and every time I turn around, you talking about you want to kill the white man and all that. I don't want your support. Leave me alone. Stay far away from me. Don't come around me. Don't even. I'll send your donation back. I send your donation back. So at the end of the day, you know, it's I don't want to have nothing to do with you. Do you still support affirmative action? And go either way. And go either way. At this point, I don't have enough to make a decision on whether or not affirmative action should totally be dismantled or we need to keep it. I really don't know. I'm still on the fence. I'm still on the fence with that, right? So I don't know. Anyone who associated with people they don't associate with will go out of the way to prove it wrong. Anyone who gets associated with people they don't associate with will go out of their way to prove it. Exactly. I had to read that twice, but bruh, I agree with you. I agree with you. If you associate me right now with a bunch of dudes that tried to kill some police officers just because they white and they say we want to vote for Shaquem, I'm gonna denounce your ass. I'm gonna denounce your black ass immediately. If you are a group of black people who said we want to kill police officers and you flying a Shaquem for mayor, a Shaquem for mayor flag, I'm gonna denounce your ass off top. Ain't gonna be no second guessing. I'm gonna denounce you immediately. Bro. You ain't even gonna have to wait 5 seconds. Shaquem is gonna denounce that ass immediately. Immediately. And I done did it before. Like, man, don't group me with these people. You know, don't group me with these people. So, bro, you on it. So, like I said, man, I'm gonna get off here, man. I've been running my mouth for a long time, but at the end of the day, like I said, man, it's a huge. We got to stand for integrity. Like I said, I like a lot of the policies that Trump has implemented. I'm not even gonna sit here and lie. I like a lot of them. I think certain things he did was real good, real good, and I will support good policy. I'm not even gonna sit there and say it. I'm not gonna sit there and lie. I support a lot of Trump's good policy. I think he's done a great job in certain areas, but it gets overshadowed by a lot of the BS. That's it. It is what it is. It is what it is. All right, y'all. Well, I'm out. Peace and love, y'all. This is Shaquem. Thank y'all for tuning in. I'm out.